Oh, good morning, Facebook. And it looks like, can't tell if my screen is actually showing everything. Let me double check here. Looks like you guys might not be able to see part of my screen. So let me move one thing around here and see if that... Good morning, Miss Sally. Yes, I am live. I had my screen where I thought it would work, but it looks like my PowerPoint screen wasn't quite in where you guys could see it. And if I'm showing you graphics, it's kind of a good idea to have that. It's weird. I've never had that problem over here when I've done a Facebook Live. So let me move over a little bit closer to where you guys can see. Good morning. I want to thank Sally Hendrick of the 50 Shades of Orange group for encouraging me to go live this morning and tell you a little bit about what visual storytelling is and why in the world should I care. Visual storytelling is kind of like taking everything you have around you in with your eyes. We are visual creatures. We eat with our eyes. We take in lots of information all the time. We process visual information, and our eyes see messages 36,000 times an hour. Now I want you to stop and think about that for a minute. Who does what 36,000 times in an hour? Like tasks. It's mind-boggling when you think about the fact that your brain processes that much in only 60 minutes. That's like 3,000 items in a second. Our brain can see an image that lasts only 13 milliseconds. So as I move back and forth or whatever, if I switched screens really fast, 13 milliseconds that's all it takes. So tell me in the chat here if that is new information to you, that we process that much information in such a short time. Oh, and thank you for everybody who has shared this out. It looks like we've got a couple people here. I see Sally's here, and I'm trying to see who else is actually here. Running a Facebook Live on two devices is still new to me, even though I've done it a good handful of times now, quite a few. But making sure I'm with you here, but also looking over to see who's in chat is different. So I'm visually taking in my 36,000 times an hour items, as I'm sure you are. So visual cues we can actually process visual things faster than we can text. So you have this little bit of text on the screen, and you also have this visual of somebody's hand in the water, and that visual of that hand in the water, is it telling us a story that this person is flipping a coin out into the water? Are they swimming? Are they struggling? We don't know. But we process that visual information, and then our brain starts, doing things with it. So we might even be telling our own story just with that. Oh, thank you, Sally. Those of you who are over in the 50 Shades group, give me half a second and let me get my other device here back over there to the group so that I can see your comments and so that I can actually interact with you guys from over there. And sorry if you hear a little bit of barking in the background. Those are my two boys because they're not so excited that Mom's on Facebook Live right at the moment. They're in their rooms and they're like, "Why do we have to be in our rooms, Mom?" So let's see. Okay, Lynette Pottle. Yes, 36,000 times is a huge number. And that, you know, Sally, thank you for the tip that that you guys had comments over here. Now I can follow them over here on I've got my iPhone going here. You see my iPad behind me with a couple things I'm going to tell you about in a minute. Actually, you guys may not be able to see the iPad. Let me see. Yeah, you guys can. I don't know why you guys can see everything on here and the rest of us, my other video feed couldn't. So, kind of strange. Let's get that back over here. I am not a morning girl, so getting up earlier than I usually do this morning to get my stuff together and make sure I had everything ready to go for you guys was not my usual, but that's okay. Let me get back to the 36,000 times an hour that I've been distracted for you guys. So those visual cues that we see in that visual story that we're seeing in this picture in the water, those visual cues can motivate us and they can trigger our emotions and they can improve our comprehension. So you say, okay, that's all well and good, Stacy, but why in the world is this important? What do I care? Well, I'm going to quote Pamela Neely, who wrote an article in Practical E-commerce. So we're talking about, e-commerce folks. She says, storytelling is one of the marketing world's newest darlings. And mind you, I don't come from the world of marketing. I don't come from the world of graphic design. I come from the social work world. You're going to go, wait a minute, why does that even matter? Well, that matters because as social workers, as a clinician, as a therapist, I hear stories all the time. My ears have heard 36,000 stories in a minute, it seems like sometimes. So storytelling is something that I feel is important to us as humans. Again, back to we're visual creatures, we're also storytelling creatures. We've told stories since the dawn of time. We used to gather in the wintertime, lots of different communities and cultures gather in the wintertime and tell stories because it was cold, everybody's inside, we're telling stories. So storytelling in general is a human concept. And visual storytelling and storytelling in a graphic way is also really important to marketing because of that emotion, motivation, and it kind of cues us to do something, right? So, I think we've been using storytelling as a form of marketing. We've been telling people about our stories and about, oh, I shot that bear, or oh, I found these cool plants. They're over here. I'll go get them for you if you trade me something else. We've been doing storytelling since the dawn of time. So, it's not so much of a shift to think, especially in our digital age, that we are visual storytellers. So when I say visual storytelling, what I mean is what does if you just have an Instagram graphic or if you just have something that you're going to post on Facebook, what story does that tell? In this last year, we've seen lots of memes telling stories. They are, excuse me while I deal with a computer issue. I just had a thing pop up. I thought I got them all, but no. Just this last year in the United States, we've had, oh, and excuse me if you guys are, if my video feed went weird. Hopefully we're still, okay, hopefully we're back. In the United States in this last year, we've had this kind of different explosion on social media of graphics and things like that. They are, you know, of memes, and those memes tell a story. They tell a story, sometimes some of them that were negative, sometimes political things, but they gathered people's emotions. They spurred them on to some type of action. So bringing that back to the business situation is the idea of layering and having your own graphics instead of using other people's memes, and instead of, oh, let's just go find a picture of, you know, a person in a cave and call that our own storytelling business. We can create our own graphics. There are so many different tools on the apps and different things we can use now for that kind of thing. Can you guys tell me over in the 50 Shades group if you can hear my dogs barking? That's kind of distracting to me. I hope it's not to you. Just 1 minute. Boys! They just needed attention. They heard Mom in here talking and they weren't getting attention themselves. So you're looking for pictures on the internet and using other people's pictures and sending those out is, you know, it's great, but you're sending somebody else's information out. Sometimes there's copyright issues. Sometimes you could have issues of just somebody's not going to recognize that it's you because you're sending a picture that everybody else has sent out a million times, and you're just sending out a picture, doesn't have anything else on it. So, I have a class over on my website called Visual Storytelling where I go deep into how to tell this visual story. I have a 4-step process that is super easy peasy, but it's a 4-step process that the class goes through. We teach you some of the apps that are on the screen behind me on my iPad. We walk through setting those up, walk through how to use them, walk through what, you know, so kind of walk you through the apps and the tech so that you can create your own visual stories using just your phone. Because frankly, you know, who has time to sit at a computer all the time when you might be at the doctor's office or waiting for the kids at soccer practice? So if you create your own visual story, people are going to recognize that it's you in kind of a split second versus, you know, somebody else's meme that they put up. Not to say that sharing other people's work isn't important. That's actually totally important to do. Oh, Lynette, thank you for checking back in. And Sally, thank you for hanging out. Sorry, those comments just now came through. So we're going, you know, if you put your own piece of yourself into your graphics, then somebody's going to recognize that it's you. The one that I have up here on the screen is showing you layering your brand DIY. That picture is actually an original photo of a coloring project I just finished the other night. I have a tendency to take pictures just kind of a little bit of everywhere. Sometimes it's a coffee cup. Sometimes it's something gorgeous outside. Whatever looks interesting, and keep those in my phone for times that I'm going to create graphics or need to. So, and I also keep like little pieces of art, like the DIY. That was actually a little piece of art from over And part of this graphic was made in Over, part of it was made in another program. So again, back to the process that I would love to teach anybody is over there. But if you kind of put your own kiss on your graphics so that people can tell it's you. Like, I was looking at Sally's Instagram page really late last night, and you can see Sally's personality in her graphics, in her Instagram page. And Instagram, you kind of, you either have a mishmash of things, which my feed still kind of does, or you have this flow of who you are. And maybe my flow is mishmash, but some people, they have a very specific style of design, and you can really tell that it's them in their graphics, no matter where they post them. And you could look at them in that that 13 milliseconds and say, oh yeah, that's so-and-so's design, because you've seen their things before. So having branded graphics that are layered and designed and tell a story can be extremely powerful, extremely powerful. So personally, I really like this quote, and I'll leave, this will be the, my last little bit here. This quote from Rob Reiner about, he's a storyteller, a filmmaker, a writer. It says, I like stories that celebrate life. And I really think that says a lot about the stories that we should be telling. Yes, we may be telling a story about our brand and about something we do and about our business, but isn't our business celebrating our life anyway? Isn't our business celebrating who we are, what we do best, what we enjoy? And then when we're enjoying something, that comes through to other people. So all of those things kind of come together. And if you can tell a story that celebrates life in one visual with maybe a quote on it that fits that and your brand on it, you could motivate people to maybe even just have a good day. Maybe they're not having a good day and they see that one graphic that's brand new that you created, and their whole day, their whole outlook on their day is just that much the better. I really appreciate the chance to not only go live this morning in general, even though it's morning, but I really appreciate Sally for encouraging me to do this morning and to go live not only on my business page and tell you a little bit about what I feel like visual storytelling is, but also to letting me broadcast that over into the 50 Shades group. The really great community that I hope to get even more involved with this year as I figure out who I am and figure out what I'm doing with the rest of my business. So if you want help creating yourself and your future, come over and check out the stories and things that I'm doing over on my website, gocreatewithstacy.com. I also right now have a free Periscope class on how to set up OBS to do with Periscope. I've got some free social media graphics. I have a freebies page. If you guys have businesses of your own and would like to be on my freebies page, send me a private message and a graphic that you would want to put up, maybe a little blurb about what your business is. And I would love to put my friends on my free resources page over on my website to get you guys some traffic. I think that's something we can always do for each other as business owners. And I just think that's also another way we can we can get our stories out there. So I went a little more than my 15 minutes that I expected this morning, but I hope that you found something that you can use in this little video. And please leave me a comment below, send me a private message, and get out there and tell your story today. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. I'll be in and out over here to check on any questions that people have and answer any additional comments, period. I really appreciate the, I am? No, I shouldn't still be live. I apparently am still be live.